This is Mastering Mathematics with your teacher, Karen Weston.
Good evening. I hope you had a lovely night's rest and that you were challenging yourself and showing that you too can work some of the things we're teaching you. This is Mastering Mathematics, a program sponsored by the Ministry of Education using its broadcasting unit and the Center for Mathematics Research and Warrior Education, along with ABS Television. We aim to make certain that mathematics becomes a doorstep experience. And oh yes, you haven't heard me saying pray for my minister. Still pray for my minister. Thank God she's back, and we're very pleased to have her around. So, and we pray also for the nation of Antigua Barbuda and for the entire education system and the teachers as we seek to educate the nation's children. Again, I remind you that students are in possession of enough resources so that they can continue the mathematics program. Let them say they haven't had any mathematics because they didn't have a teacher. If it's anything, call and I will come and start the stuff for you. But please make certain that we start making them independent learners. We have crafted out the tables, etc., and the order and the sequencing in which the mathematics should be performed. So even if just to drop in at the center here, right down by Neva Street, and these children know where it is because they like to talk about the Australian ice cream. And I'm just next to that place in this pink building. They can drop in and just say, "Hi, Miss Weston, could you please do so-and-so," or call, all right? So again, the number is 783-6971. Hi, Barbuda. Yes, I will be over shortly so that we can start that program again, and you too are going to be mathematics giants. Again, we thank Family Dentistry for coming to the front to ensure that the nation's children will be empowered as far as mathematics, and for Bargain Center for helping me to bring home some of these books so that I too can empower teachers with some of the knowledge that would make them grow. If you want to join us, we do tape on a Tuesday afternoon, and you're welcome to come because that is how you're going to learn the mathematics that we're doing here. In studio, I have with me Miss Grant, and she's really enjoying herself. Aisha is here too, and she's not only a worker, she has to take time out because her students' children are also listening. And so too is my master cameraman, Jetta, who will make certain that the program is one that you're going to enjoy. No more talking, back to work, okay? And what did we say that we were doing? We were looking at the sequencing in which operations are performed. The sequences in which operations are performed, okay? Because most of the time, the sums, or we're losing mark, and these little 1 and 2 and half a mark, they do add up. And that is where we're losing it. So instead of getting a 3, we're into a 4. Instead of getting a 2, you're into a 3. So we're making certain that we have sequences and everything organized. And then, so we're starting here again. Today, we start with one of the problems. And again, I'm using the Graham Lane text. And it is here that we're going to be getting 7 times 5. Oh, I find he has done a good job here. 7 times 5, and it is minus 12 divided by 4, and it is plus 3. What is the solution for that? And again, yes, I'm making mention of everybody, and again, I must thank my assistant, my IT assistant right here with me in the center, Mr. Washington Bramble, because he's the one that has all the creativity in terms of my getting this done, that done, getting the things on YouTube, making certain you can be outside on the sidewalk, have your tablets, and still get the mathematics running. We're going to get those solutions to you too, performers, so you are not left out, but we need to make certain that you have these preliminary and basic operations at your fingertips. Multiple choice papers always seem so very easy, but then you lose it when we have these sort of things to do, okay? When I get some of the questions from the exam paper, you see they're going to be asking you things like, which one of these would represent the commutative law? And if you know our definitions, if we know what we're talking about, and that is why we are here and why this program is coming into it, because we want you to know. All right, so we have this sum. It looks ominous. What do we have here? We have everything. It has multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Right, so we go back every time. Do we have bracket?
No.
Do we have the word of?
No.
Do we have division?
Yes.
So that is where we start, all right? These, you keep your eyes on this acronym all the time. It doesn't matter how difficult or how thick it looks, it still will be accommodated by this. So we have division. So what do I do?
Divide 12 by 4, 4 by 12. That's
What am I doing?
12 divided by 4.
Oh, right. So again, we would be writing because, again, presentation is important, all right? So you would be writing back your 7 times 5 minus, and this is where your bracket is at this time, 12 divided by 4, and it is plus 3. So what am I going to write on this line?
7 times 5 minus 3 plus 3.
Plus 3. What am I going to do next?
Multiply.
So we're going to multiply. What are we multiplying?
7 times 5.
So we have 7 times 5, and that is going to give me
35.
35. And I'm writing back minus 3 plus 3. What am I going to do next?
And
What am I adding?
35 plus 3.
Right. You see how easy you don't forget again? So it's 35 plus 3, and we write back our minus 3. So what's the answer here?
41 minus 3.
Is it? What are we doing? Are we adding? 35 and 3 would give me what?
38, sorry.
38, and it is minus 3. And what is the answer?
35.
35. Now, I want to show you something. This is a prime example where we get students going wrong. You see this line here? You see what we have for our answer here? We would get students coming and they would argue profusely. Miss Weston, if I write 35, look here, minus 3 and plus 3 would give me 0. So the answer is 35. And when we don't give it to them, they say, you bad-minded, but you haven't followed the rule, okay? It has to be addition first and then subtraction. So that is why sometimes you will say, but the two of us have the same answer and you still get it wrong. Yes, because you did not follow the rule. All right? So it's not getting the answer, it is how. Okay? And that is very, very important. So please, no shortcuts, no ingenuity, because you don't think that your teachers are sleeping and just think, oh, why is she saying 35? She'll give me right. No, we're checking everything. Sequencing is important, all right? Let us do another long one like that one. That was very good. Okay, now, let us look at this example. And this one is saying, listen to it this time. What is the answer here? So we have 11 minus, and it is 12 divided by 4, and it is plus, and we have 3, and it is times, bracket 6 minus 2. And that is the one we want to find the answer to. And this is going to end our exercises so far with our BOMDAS, okay, and the sequencing in how operations are performed. So you're not just hearing brackets of multiplication, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. And you can argue which one can come first, okay? My preference right now is to put division first because I have to change my division sign to a multiplication sign, okay? But if you did your multiplication and then you pretended to be an American where you say division is the inverse of multiplication, it's all right. Okay. But this is now our story. What am I going to do here? Brackets first. And they're looking at us straight away. So we are going to write back that that's equal to 11 minus 12 divided by 4 is plus 3 and it's times. What am I getting? 6 minus 2 would give me? 4. Okay? Right. So we have that. What am I going to work next?
Division.
Oh, division. Okay? So we can see this right away that we're going 11. We can put our imaginary brackets right here. Okay? And it's plus 3 times 4. So that minus, and then so it's now equal to 11 minus 3 plus 3 times 4. Notice what I'm not doing because I'm not very perfect, I'm not very good. Notice I'm not trying to do 2 operations in the same line. All right? So take your time, make certain you understand that, so you're not trying to kill the operation in one stuff. Yes, if you're on your calculators and you know what you're doing, because some of your questions may say using calculator or otherwise, but we want you with the otherwise because we want you to be strong, okay? So, what am I doing next? So I'm going to be multiplying. So it's 11 minus 3 plus 12, okay? And it's equal, what's my next move?
Addition.
And what am I adding?
11 plus 12.
So now it's 11 plus 12, and it is minus your 3. So it's equal now to 23 minus 3. And then that is now equal to 20. And that's our answer. Okay? You cannot go wrong. Okay? Cannot go wrong. So while I give you a little chance to absorb, I'm going to send you on a little break because I know grannies, you're going to have some of your grandchildren saying, Granny, she's going too fast, I didn't have time to write down that. We're going to give you a little time to write down that. So send you on your break and we'll be right back.
Carefully read over the sections of your textbook assigned by your teacher and look carefully at the sample problems. Decide if you benefit more by reading before or after the instructor covers the material.
Complete all readings and especially homework assignments as soon as possible after they are announced. And definitely complete all assignments before new material is covered. This ensures that the information is fresh in your mind and linked to more basic concepts previously learned. Do your assignments early enough to allow you to get help with the things you do not understand.
Don't look on what I cannot do. Focus on what I can do. I may not say what I do, but I can hear and feel it as strongly.
I may not hear, but that does not and should not affect my ability to learn and to function in the real world.
I am a gifted student. I need the opportunity to soar. Support me in my climb to higher levels of learning.
Some of our children have special educational needs. They have a right to an education. So, let us teach them the way that they learn and help them to achieve their full potential.
Right, hello. And if you're home watching the schools that I haven't gotten to as yet, you're always welcome to come to join us in our studio so that you can be a part of this audience and you will be learning something too, okay? The only thing, we may be a little early for them, but in the end, we will see that if they're coming in, then we'll be accommodating them in between. Well, commutative law, associative law, distributive law, sequencing, and BODMAS. How do we operate these things? What are we doing this time? We are arming you with the technical tools that are required to work mathematical problems and to do them correctly. All right? To do them correctly. Once we're armed with the ammunition, everything else will come. So it's not making mathematics, it's not making examination the world that we live in, okay? We will get there, but we are creating the environment ourselves, and we're using the artifacts and the tools that go with them. The next thing I want to do, certain times we are given operations, and we hear some words too. So let's see if we know these vocabularies. What are we talking about when we introduce this word? Okay, have we ever heard about it? Have we ever seen it around? And it is called the additive identity. So remember, we give you some vocabularies too, you know. The additive identity. Have we ever heard that? The additive identity. What about you, Mr. Bramble? Because you walk all the street in Antigua. Do we know about additive identity? Have you met it on the street corner anywhere? Have you heard anybody?
I may have heard it somewhere.
Okay. Oh, kind of fuzzy. Okay. The additive identity means if we add a number to any given number, and we get back the given number, then that thing is called the additive identity. All right? So for example, if I gave you 25 plus something, and my answer is 25, this something here is called the additive identity. Have you ever passed that number beside you anywhere? Flowing in the street, in the gutter, rushing past you, in the morning air, on the television, saying, now I'm a technical tool. Do you know any number like that? What number, when added, and I'm not speaking about negative 25. No, I'm not talking about negative 25. And even if we did negative 25, we would not get back 25. What number, when added to 25, would give us back an answer of 25? 0. And that is it, okay? So you know right away, 0 is not just 0, okay? It has a name, it has a function, and it is called the additive identity. So in mathematics, we say if 0 is added to any number, the sum is the number. So again, and that additive identity is 0. So we say if 0 is added to any number, the sum is the number. So for example, yes, if I gave you 25 plus 0, the answer would be equal to, what would the answer be equal to? 25. Okay? If I gave you 314 plus 0, the answer is equal to 314, okay? So when 0 is added to any number, the answer is the number itself. So then we call 0 the additive identity. And so in our multiple choice questions, we would be given things and say, which one of these would represent the additive identity? CXA is never going to ask you to say, state the definition. They're going to be doing it applicably, where we have to say, which one of these would represent the additive identity. Okay? So then, by extension, if I went across and started talking about the multiplicative identity. So let's get this here. Let's put this one here. So we're getting our terms too, because we're going to make a summary of them. We're doing our number and number theory coming up. And once we have the foundational knowledge, that's right, the fundamentals for mathematics, we're good to go. Okay, so we talk about the multiplicative identity. Okay, what do you think that rule would be saying? Bramber, what do you think that rule would be saying?
Well, I guess it's similar to the additive identity, except you're using multiplication. So if you again anything you
First thing I want to ask you, thank you. So the multiplicative identity, we have identified it that it is 1. Very good, Miss Grant. All right. And so what would we be saying the rule is?
If 1 is multiplied by
Exactly. That is what we tell them about language in the mathematics classroom. All right? And as long as you get one thrust, you can push and say the others, okay? And that's why we can say, tell the children, write it in your own words. Because they can do it, okay? And that is where it comes from. So as soon as you start modeling, and teachers, that is what you have to do. And even if you're not feeling well, drag yourself and go. And as long as you start getting into your lessons, you are going to see, because the children are going to be with you, okay? So we're saying, tell me again, if 1
is multiplied by any number,
if 1, yes, is, I had to look to see, is multiplied by any, is not sum. What do we call multiplication? What do we talk? The product. If 1 is multiplied by any number, all right, we're going to talk about some language here. Multiplied by any number, then the product, right, the product is the number, okay? And that is what we're talking about. So for example, and that's why we can even give them 102 times 1, and the answer is equal to? What's the answer equal to? 102. And even if I gave you that it is now 22 times 1, what's the answer equal to? 22. Is there anything boring about mathematics? We have got to tell people that mathematics is a discovery subject. And the more you get into it, and you just look and see the rules that they're giving you, the easier it becomes, okay? And you look at the exam papers and you're saying, wait, this is what these children are crying about? But you must give them the technical aspect and the fundamentals to go with it, all right? This is where we're going to leave you and ask you to give yourself some practice, especially with that BOMDUS rule. Call your neighbors, call your friends. Everybody you see, you be a teacher. Teach them and show them what is. Now, just before I go, one of my student guests wanted to know what Warrior Education has to do with a mathematics center. For us in school, we don't tell our students that they have to learn how to study. And studying takes concentration, sitting, listening, and again, strategizing. And when I start telling you and showing you how the game of war is played, you're going to understand that it takes strategy, all right? And you have got to be always one above your companion, one above your partner, playing, strategizing. How are we going to do this? And that is what we're going to be saying is the foundation in terms of helping us. And again, for the little one is counting. Sure, we have a part of the worry game we call round and round. That's just to get you going. But then that other part of thinking. And you ask me, how come you're so good at worry? Because my father, that is the game he taught us, all right? And you know, you're supposed to be winning 25 seeds. But for us, man, he played us like some hard fishermen. So once we won 11, if we can cut, because that's the word they call, if we can cut 11 of those seeds, then we would have won the game. It was a hard feat to achieve, okay? But it kept you thinking away because you're always looking out for a cut. And we want to make certain, especially in the vacations, that we will be bringing these children here to see that. So Sport Minister and the Prime Minister, I'm putting you on guard. We're coming for those boards because we need them. Okay, and I want to tell you that this was the brainchild of the Prime Minister too. He wants to see worry in schools, and I'm so glad to be of assistance in this area to make certain that we bring another dimension to the whole aspect of mathematics and to let you understand that formal learning is not the only time where we learn, okay? Informal learning takes outside the classroom, and most of the time, students learn so much in that environment. And so, as we bid you good night, again, we remind you that you can go on YouTube and get these. And again, we have our website and the things right in this pink building down in Nevis Street. You can come in to the Mathematics Center and ask for any of the series that we have done, because we want you to start building a resource library for mathematics in your house. All right? So parents, auntie, uncle, everybody, taxi men, I know you're listening. Do keep on learning mathematics and spreading the news that mathematics is fun and it can be learned at any stage. You don't need to have a foundation. You just need to listen and want to learn. So until next week, this is Karen Weston saying, have a good evening.
Join us next time for another in the series, Mastering Mathematics, a production of the Education Broadcasting Unit in the Ministry of Education and ABS TV.